Hi everybody. I want to talk about the fact that there is indeed now hope for change for people with narcissistic personality disorder. It is my personal hope. There's not a major body of science out on this, but I want to sort of clue you guys in on what to be watching and what to follow. John Hopkins recently completed a study on the effects of psychedelic drugs and mind-altering drugs for their ability to alter the mind. Imagine that. They did a study. They used the magic mushrooms, shrooms, whatever you want to call them, the mushrooms that you eat and see little green men or whatever. They used those in a clinical trial. And I can't even imagine what the application for this study would have looked like whenever it came across someone's desk at the federal government. Where it's like, hey, we're at John Hopkins and we want to take people with cancer, people with depression, and people who are smokers and trip their balls off and see what happens. And the federal government was, of course, like, hell yeah, let's go for it. So it got approved. So what was this study? They wanted to see how certain psychedelics can alter the mind and see if there is potential use for psychological treatments. This is coming on the tail end of marijuana legalization in many parts of the country. The country, I mean the United States, and all over the world. Now they're looking at possible applications for naturally occurring psychedelics. So things like magic mushrooms, mescaline, DMT, ecstasy, otherwise known as MDMA, LSD, all the D9 Bravo whatevers. They're looking to see if there is potential for treatments, psychological treatments with these drugs, which sounds like an absolute horrible idea, but these are people with PhDs who tend to know what they're doing, and I'm almost positive that they have done these drugs themselves. I think one reason why the magic mushrooms are such a focus of study is it's more recently come out that a lot of the entrepreneurs and leaders and people in Silicon Valley are using magic mushrooms in what's known as microdosing, which is basically I take enough, I don't trip, but I take just a little bit and it makes me smart and I make millions. Seems legit. I mean, who wouldn't? So the interest in the magic mushrooms from a scientific standpoint is the fact that the chemicals in these mushrooms are known to produce new brain growth, particularly in areas that are weakened and repressed. They can also send you straight to hell and cause permanent psychosis. So, there's that. But, provided that you don't go to hell and end up in permanent psychosis, you can actually reap some benefits. So, yeah, tread carefully. Doesn't sound all that casual. The way that it does this, it's a process, it's a mouthful. It's called epigenetic neurogenesis. So let me break that down. Epigenetic neurogenesis. Epigenetic meaning genetic, neurogenesis meaning the creation of new neurons. So the epigenetic neurism. What it means is that it causes your brain cells to push out new dendrites, new connections between each other. It also stimulates the brain and excites all the existing connections as well. It does this because of the fact that the chemicals in the mushrooms are very similar to serotonin in the brain. And the brain treats it exactly like it's serotonin. And so it fills up all your serotonin receptors and you become happy. Your brain, at least in theory, if you've got troubled areas of your brain, it's going to wake those up, and then you're angry. So, be careful. But what they did is they did this under very controlled settings. They had, certified homies there in the room to give these people these drugs and administer them and then watch what the hell happens. So it was in a controlled environment with people who presumably know what they're doing. And they gave mushrooms to depressed people, to smokers, and to people dying of diseases and illnesses. 85% of the smokers quit cold turkey. The people who were depressed reported permanent changes in their attitudes and their outlooks on life, even after a year. And the people who were dying became more at peace with their final days. Obviously, they're not still happy about the fact they're dying, but the angst and the worry and anxiety that comes in those end days where you're worrying about your family and all the horrible thoughts that one has to think about, they were more at peace about it. And this was after one single session that all of this happened. So phenomenal results and phenomenal potential. My hope is that it does, that there's potential to have people with disorders have a bit of a wake-up call. Put the pieces together as to why there's drama in their lives. For the paranoid people, maybe not everybody's really out to get you. Maybe it's me. Narcissism, maybe it's not everybody's jealous of you. You're actually hurting people. That's my hope. My hope is that something gets discovered. I'm gonna put a link to the John Hopkins study in the description. You can watch it. It's very fascinating stuff. I hope that they make more discoveries as time goes on. I don't recommend anybody just go pick a mushroom and eat it, because it's probably not gonna work. And even if you don't pick it, if you go get a mushroom from your dealer, cough, there is still a 10% bad trip rate with mushrooms. At least that was the figure that I heard quoted by someone else who was giving their opinion. There is a relatively high bad trip rate with mushrooms, and it's because if somebody has something dark that is deeply repressed, they're gonna have to face it, and it's not always fun. So there's that. Don't do it unless you're part of a professional study, I guess. Anyways, that's all I got for now. Please like, comment, or share. Give this TED Talk video a watch. I think it's phenomenally interesting. And I will see you on the next video.